Laurence, if you're watching, this is a masterpiece. Greetings, welcome back. My name is Mr. H and you are my friends, and in today's video I'm going to be reacting to 5 stages of Chicago weather. Now I've seen lots of people say how good and funny this video is, so I had to check it out and give you a bonus video because I'm a bloody nice guy like that. Quick shout out to our merch store. If you would like to see yourself appear on our website, take a picture of yourself wearing the merch or with mugs, etc., email them in to us on the email below. We will put these up on our website. Like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff. You know you want to do something amazing today. I'm gonna shut up, let's get on with the video. Love the new branding.
It's that time of year again when the autumn leaves disappear under a carpet of cold white In fact, cold white comes to dominate the city and can be found on park benches, treetops and roads, where it subsequently turns into cold brown Experience has taught me that there isn't just one, but several stages to coping with the Windy City's coldest season. At least 3 of them involve whiskey. For the perpetually curious, the job has fallen to me to guide you through each stage. So, if you're not subscribed to this channel, do that now. For me, it all started in February 2007 when I truly learned the value of staring off into the middle distance.
I have to say, Laurence, if you are watching this, let me know, where did you get that wig? Because that wig is like, I know it's got like a, it's so silky and it's in such good condition.
I was visiting my then American fiance, who is now my wife, but it was still American. One night, I found myself whispering sweet nothings into her ear, such as, "Hi." Or,
"So, personal question. In your infinite wisdom, how far is the Sears Tower from this, the bountiful kingdom of Indiana?"
About 200 miles. Also, how is that a personal question?
To me, it was deeply personal.
To me, it is completely and utterly a little bit personal.
For as long as I could remember, I'd harbored a fascination with the Sears Tower bordering on sizable. In the early 1990s, my dad had taught me it was the tallest building in the world. Now that I lived one state away, I had to see it for myself.
I could barely contain my excitement until somebody switched on the weather.
The Chicagoland area will see wind gusts of up to 22 miles per hour with wind chill right around -2 degrees Fahrenheit or -19 Celsius if you're watching this report from the UK for some absolutely bizarre reason.
This is brilliant. He had a shave as well.
Finally, expect to see up to 2 feet of cold white in the early afternoon.
Despite my initial concerns, we arrived at my wife's consensus and went to Chicago that very day. I saw the Sears Tower, marveled at its general height, and lost the will to live after about 30 minutes.
Being absolutely broke, we opted not to go inside, which is a pity because I'd forgotten to bring my gloves. And earmuffs. And a proper winter jacket.
Being a stubborn 25-year-old, I quickly reasoned that it wasn't my fault, that blame lay squarely at the feet of the unrelenting tundra that is Chicago.
I vowed that very day to never catch myself living in the Windy City, a promise I kept for almost 10 years.
But now that I'm living in Chicago, I've learned 2 very important things. 1, it pays to wear the right clothes, and 2, living in Chicago and visiting are 2 very different things.
This is brilliant.
Researchers believe that human beings remain the only species in the observable universe to periodically alter their clocks. And I know what you're thinking. Ooh, Laurence, the clocks went back in autumn, not winter, so this doesn't gel with the rest of the video. I'm quite aware of that, thank you, but the effect that it has on daylight is felt most keenly in the winter, so shut it. And of course, such clock tinkering is not exclusive to Illinois. The end of daylight saving time affects all states that don't rhyme with Hawaii or Arizona. However, it doesn't affect all places equally. On December 21st, the shortest day of the year, Chicago goes dark at 4:23 p.m. In Indianapolis, where I used to live, 5:23 p.m. And this isn't just down to the time difference between the two cities or the fact that one is more southerly than the other. It's also impacted by where they sit along those time zones. Indianapolis is at the extreme west of the Eastern time zone and therefore gets darker almost an hour later than cities on the East Coast. Chicago, meanwhile, is at the extreme east of the Central Time Zone, meaning that it gets darker almost an hour earlier than Central Nebraska. Between the two cities, Chicagoans might argue that they got the raw end of the deal. And from experience, few things feel as daunting as leaving work and catching the L train 30 minutes into nighttime, especially when Chainsaw Jim is on board and refusing to give up 2 of his 3 seats. On the flip side, the winter solstice does see Chicago get lighter earlier in the morning than Indianapolis, which is good news for parents and my kitty cat.
I have to say, this is probably one of his best videos. I have to say, I'm only partway through it. Laurence, again, if you're watching, this is absolutely brilliant. If you agree with me, let me know by liking this video.
Because only an animal would dare to upstage me. Tragically, as a YouTube sensation, it's unlikely I will ever again be awake in time to enjoy this benefit, so post your condolences below. Thankfully, though, winters in Chicago don't entirely amount to one poorly lit hellscape, unless you're doing the midnight breaststroke in Lake Michigan. Naked. In the run-up to Christmas, the city breathes under the buzzing lights of Chris Kindle Market, Lincoln Park Zoo, and the Party City on West Fullerton. The sound of Christmas music emanating from the shops is enough to make this Englishman forget all about the bad stuff. Okay, that's not quite true. I mean, we've all heard Wonderful Christmas Time, right?
Oh.
The point is, the festive period has the capacity to touch the heart of not just me, but every Chicagoan, even the ones who sound angry but aren't.
He's really gone all out on this one. I mean, I have to say, this is brilliant. The B-roll, the picture quality, the sound quality, the music, superb.
At Christmas, even the cold white feels pleasant against my face, and Mum, I hope you watch this video from the beginning. While ice skating usually has the undesirable effect of annihilating my ankles, I can still enjoy the happiness that it brings other people, and I'm definitely not here to watch any of them fall. And yes, Chris Kindle Market, a German Christmas tradition in which people from all walks of life get to find out what it's like to be in an episode of Rick Steves' Europe. The mulled wine, the bratwursts, the festive vocabulary, but in German.
We have exactly the same thing here in Bristol.
This is Christmas in Chicago. From the first Christmas songs to the New Year's Eve fireworks off Navy Pier, the holiday season can make newbies to the city believe that Chicago winters represent a sort of utopian paradise. But just as with fireworks, what goes up must come down.
Ooh. Stage 3.
The American author Eric Larson once wrote, "I must confess a shameful secret. I love Chicago best in the cold." And while that's easy to say when you have the world's most Scandinavian name, it ceases to be true in my case the minute I hang up my calendar. You have to remember, I grew up in the English town of Grimsby, where the average January temperature is around 38 degrees Fahrenheit. And as a child, I thought that was cold.
Well, I gotta tell you, Larry, in the Chicagoland area, that same month sees average temperatures 11 degrees colder than that. For my inexplicably high number of British viewers, Chicago's January average is close to -3 degrees Celsius, making it the city's coldest month.
Thanks, Cody. January is to December what the fourth National Lampoon's film is to its predecessor. All downhill after Christmas. Where once the city was vibrant, by January it descends into a desolate hellscape, moonlighting as the third largest city in America. Shops are not
so
closed,
good.
but feel like they are. And the leaves, a thing of warm, fiery beauty in my October special, now implanted into the sidewalk like the Fallout Boy tattoo that my wife's cousin Chad claims to have on his arse. But just as that dramatic image remains mercifully hidden underneath the unlikely hero that is his camo pants, the sidewalks too become buried under 8 inches of cold white And it's usually at that very moment that I hear music.
Oh, there he is. Hello. Oh, hi, Laurence. Yeah, I see you typing there. This is Laurence. How's July 2023 treating you? That's good. Yeah, February. Well, you've already been through February. Hey, listen, to make this easier and to advance the plot of the video, could you switch on your microphone and camera? Thanks.
Oh, hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. Future you is having a fantastic time.
Well, that's good to hear, future Laurence, because, February me isn't, I'm afraid.
Well, that's not good. Did Tara forget Valentine's Day?
Well, no, that's our job. Don't you remember anything?
Sorry, a lot's happened in the last 8 months.
You mean 5 months?
Well, no, because technically you released this special in November, even though you're playing the February and July versions of yourself. It's very confusing. The point is, you don't know it yet, but you have a big life event coming up before you even get to February.
Okay, but I'm in February
Stay
now,
tuned.
and it's awful.
Okay, are you going to refresh my memory?
I mean, it's Chicago, February, when our seasonal affective disorder kicks in.
Oh, that.
Yeah, I mean, we always talk about it, how we mentally assign colours to every month of the year. So, like, November is black with hints of yellow to signify earlier evenings and bonfires.
And July is an intense orange to signify sizzling food and warm beaches.
Yeah, all right, but ever since we moved to Chicago, do you remember which colour we assigned to February?
Blue.
Yeah. Blue, a depressing shade of cerulean blue.
Well, come on. I mean, at least cerulean has the distinction of being a perfect anagram of our name.
So it does. Very good point, very good point. But look, it's not even that it's Chicago's coldest month. It just feels like it is. I mean, it's also the shortest month of the year, and yet somehow in this city it feels like the longest. You expend all of that winter energy at Christmas, you push yourself through January knowing you've at least devised a weight loss plan to keep you occupied, and then February hits and you realise you've got to do it all over again.
I tell you what, this is really hard to do. I did something similar, but with green screens. Well, it's exactly the same as this, actually. It's really hard to do and get the timing right. Fair play, Laurence. This is brilliant. I would say this is his best video. Let me know in the comments below if you agree with me.
Except the weight loss part, and I'm sitting here wondering, will it ever end?
I mean, as somebody who's been through it, I can tell you this, right? It's just like all of the other years. February never ends until it does. And then you forget what the big fuss was all about.
Yeah, well, I suppose you're right. So what was this big life event then?
Oh, don't worry about all of that. All will be revealed in an upcoming special. Look, for now, I've got to go. The weather report says it's going to plummet down to 83 degrees in the afternoon. Give my love to your wife, our wife.
Yeah, will do.
Brilliant. Ooh, stage 5.
I used to say that I could only stomach life in Chicago 6 months out of the year, but I think I was wrong about that. I think it's closer to 10. Around March the 1st, I don't know, something happens to my brain, and the psychological barriers that winter had put up begin gradually to fade. Instead of cerulean, I now see mostly brown with faint hints of green, as if I were looking at a Restoration Hardware or an English football pitch from the 80s. Average March temperatures in Chicago, Cody Dewpoint, are...
Let me see here. About 8 degrees warmer than in February.
But more than that, March is when winter technically comes to a close. And Chicago even finishes winter the way it started it, with festivities. The city's St. Patrick's Day celebrations more or less mark the end of winter, with thousands of drunk revelers gathering to stare at a green river dressed in the very same colour, sporting complexions not far behind.
Let us know in the comments below. Do you celebrate St. Patrick's Day? I'd love to hear from you. I have to say again, this is a masterpiece. I'm not sure if he put this all together himself or edited it all together himself, but this is, Laurence, if you're watching, this is a masterpiece.
I might be exaggerating a bit. Come to think of it, that might be where those hints of green come from. It's certainly not from the leaves, which, much like me, don't show themselves until the middle of April. It's fair to say that America is a vast country. No two cities experience the pain of winter in quite the same way, except for Minneapolis and St. Paul, but only because they're twins. While the US is home to several regions with colder winters than Chicago, no single city in England can say the same, not even Narnia. For that reason alone, I might never come to terms with stages 3 and 4, and believe me, I've tried. I even dress like Han Solo in that bit where he slices open a tauntaun. And yet, I find his carbon freeze arc way more relatable.
Oh my god. This is so
Thanks
good.
for watching this video and sharing it with all of your Chicago friends. Until the next video, goodbye.
Wow, that was brilliant. Being someone that makes videos, albeit quite amateur, I've thoroughly enjoyed and respected that. That was a lot of work went into that. He created his characters and things like that, and it was funny to the point. And the storyboard, it must take a long time to put it all together. So absolutely brilliant. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. Do something amazing today. Hit that subscribe button and that notification bell, and you'll be notified every time we upload a new video. I bloody love that video. I bloody love you. As always, much love to our cousins across the pond. And all that leaves me to say is take care, God bless, and see y'all in the next video.